Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Friday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel, good to be back with everyone here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. I survived San Francisco. Joel, did you guys survive without me?
I would say we had some minor hiccups.
Okay.
But as far as like the show production, I would give myself like a B minus.
Alrighty, I can live with the B minus. We got a lot to get to on today's show. Earnings, obviously, Nvidia is going to be the lead story of our morning here, and the reaction to that report as it relates to the rest of tech stocks, because that was very interesting last night. So we'll talk about that. We have some other earnings to discuss as well, some ratings. But Nvidia will be the leader on our show. Retail, of course, also we had Nordstrom and it killed them all. Our guest today at 8:25 will be joined by Paul LaMonica, digital correspondent at CNN Business. Joel, what is the word here in the S&Ps?
Oh, we got some red here on the screen. S&P futures down 16.50 points at 27.18. Your pre-market high near the close of 32. Close was 34.5. Pre-market high 32.25. Big target on the upside. Thursday's high right there as well at 36.75. Your pre-market low comes in at 12.75. Your daily pivot's at 14.25. That's the only number I have there. Underneath that, things really thin out because Thursday's low was way down there at 2671.75. Crude on the rebound here. I was waiting for a perfect double bottom to get long, and I didn't get the perfect double bottom, but 3 up days after 12 down days. Crude on the rebound, trading up 87 cents at 57.56. Big red candle to take care of from 3 days ago. We'll see if we can get a little bit more of a rebound here in the crude oil market. Gold up $1.50 at 12.16.5 after dipping under 1,200. Silver down 2.8 cents at 14.235, and Bitcoin well under that previous support is 6,000, up $85 at 54.50. Spencer, before we bring in Triple D, can you just give us a couple highlights from the FinTech Awards?
Oh man, a couple FinTech Summit was why I was in San Francisco for the second annual Benzinga FinTech Summit. Some highlights. Let's see. Very good discussion about the adoption of cryptocurrency within the mainstream financial services industry. That was a really good talk. Got to meet Corey Johnson in person. He's the formerly of Bloomberg, now at Ripple. So, you know, a lot of good cryptocurrency discussions and sort of how the industry can adapt to the technology. What else did we discuss?
Even after it tick out 6,000.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny because that was I don't know exactly the time of day that sell-off happened, but I think it was around the time that the panel was going on, because they mentioned it during, you know, obviously today was a bad day for as bullish as they were being about cryptocurrencies on the panel. They did mention that today was this is Wednesday now, but was a bad day for Bitcoin. But I thought that was interesting. I thought the brokerage panel, as always, was great with the heads of trading at Schwab and E-Trade, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade. They were all there. What else do we have? It was honestly, it was a really good event. Got to meet a lot of people. I made some new friends. I saw Econoday, you know them for their the Econ calendars. Yeah. I approached them and I said I'm a big fan of their calendars because I you know, just to see what's coming up as far as economic data is concerned, and they loved me, Joel. They love that a 27-year-old loves their calendars.
Well, they know that you're just a geek because you've been hanging out with me.
Sure.
You're an old 27.
Exactly.
You're hanging out with that old man.
Exactly.
Let's bring in Triple D here. His eyes are wide open here. He's got a lot.
Somewhat wide open. Pretty tired. Always tired. Perpetual tiredness.
So go on your your rant here, Nvidia. Holy smokes!
Well, give us the numbers, Spencer, first, and then I'll talk and break down the action from last night, which to me was not so much Nvidia being down shocking, but everything else shocking. I'll tell you about it.
Right. So the Q3 numbers were fine. Q3 EPS $1.84 versus $1.71. Q3 sales 3.18 versus 3.24 billion. So a mixed report, but the Q4 sales guidance is really hit this thing here. Sales guidance they gave for Q4 $2.7 billion versus a $3.4 billion estimate. So a huge miss on the Q4 sales print.
Yeah, and the stock obviously carnage here this morning, trading down 17% in the pre-market, 18% here now, 165 and a quarter. So it's lights out here for Nvidia, not pretty. But what was shocking to me last night was how resilient the SPY was in the S&Ps. I mean, okay, Q's got hit somewhat on it, and I was looking in my filters, and I'm like, every tech stock is getting destroyed. And the S&P SPY was still trading flat 2 hours later. I'm like, we're not even down. Like, we're 273 on the SPY. I'm like, how are we not tanking on the S&P? You got Nvidia trade down 18%. You have every tech stock basically getting destroyed, every chip stock especially getting destroyed. And the S&Ps just sat there and sat there and sat there for what felt like an eternity. I shorted a bunch of SPY on it because I'm like, just logic says we're going to get hit. You know what? I had to start second guessing myself by like, an hour later, I'm like, they're not going to sell this off. And then, we're 2 hours later, we're 6 o'clock, we're 7 o'clock last night, and SPY is trading down like a dime. I'm like, this is nuts. I'm like, Nvidia's going to open down 18% and SPY is not going to go down at all. So then I had, memories of the whole Apple. When Apple got hit originally, remember that next day, all these tech stocks opened higher. Eventually they caved. But, you talk about how fast the market responds to everything. I'll tell you, that was the slowest response to Nvidia that I think, you could see. We're down here now, and now a lot of stocks are down, and rightfully so. But why the hell did it take so long? Joel, do you have a theory? Why did it take so long for the S&Ps to respond to what was a tech wreck last night?
Well, first of all, I just I want to say I had a bad day yesterday. I just kind of had like a frustrating day. And so I just I shut things down a little bit early. And when I went home, I said, you know what? I just don't want to look at this market. I did some other things. So I was kind of like out of the loop, right? I mean, that was an astounding rally there. I had some longs didn't go up. It was just so I just kind of took a step back, but still did my levels. And what I'm thinking is that people are just getting whipsawed. I mean, that move yesterday, selling off the open, then rallying 60 points. I just think traders are just like, it's tough. It's a lot of these big movements, shorts probably lost money. You had one point during the day where you ran up to 27.10, you broke 20 handles down to 26.90, and then you rallied 40 handles. So I just think people are just trying to figure out there's a lot of volatility. You can be right and still be losing money. You can be wrong and losing a lot of money. So I just think it was probably a little bit tepid, kind of like you saw it, you saw the setup, this is like it should be, this is what it should be doing, but then it's not. You're not getting that instant gratification. And that. So I just say Marcus Tire
and I could have made a lot of money. Like I went short a lot of stock right on the Nvidia, and a lot of other stocks, like the chip stocks got beats, and those went really fast. It was hard to get those, but everything else was sitting there. And you had even like Microsoft, stocks like Microsoft just sitting there flat. Like would not sell off last night for the longest time. You can look at the chart from last night. Like it sat up there like 107, 107.10. It's not down that much here in either. And which is, it's not, obviously directly related to Nvidia. So, but, they do have a gaming component there too as well. And if you think, this is all, like from a Microsoft perspective, if you really think about it, if Nvidia is, not doing well, the gaming, blaming gaming. Well, Microsoft has a huge revenue business from gaming. You'd think Microsoft be getting hit more too. Only down 60 cents. So, a little bit of resilience here and a lot of other tech stocks as well. And then the rotation. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stocks that probably trade higher. And this is just the way this market works. It's like it rotates around. You're probably going to see, and, we got a couple good points here from Griffin, with healthcare stocks, which have been very strong. Possibly could catch a bid here today. I don't know. You're down on a lot of things. But you think some of the defensive stuff, some of your food stocks, some of your XLU is probably going to be much higher here, which PCG is going to be responsible for that, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But just shows you, this market still is not selling everything off. This market is still rotating around, and there's stuff holding us up, and it's going to probably be stuff holding us up here again today because we're only down 15 handles, when Nvidia and a lot of other tech stocks are basically murdered.
What do you think about this price action here in Nvidia? Because you had the initial drop here, and the 8 o'clock hour when Dennis shuts things down, we went off the board. We had made our low at 163.56. There's one level for you to keep an eye on. The rebound high is 170 even, so keep an eye on that. But now you're just sitting here. Is there people just shell shocked here? Is there size on both sides of the market, Dennis? What are you seeing out there as far as bids?
Oh, it's liquid. You can get on Nvidia within 15 cents here right now. Very liquid. This is priced in. Like, this is traded now for the majority of the pre-market after our session below 173, 174. And now into the 160s here. So this is priced in. This isn't bouncing back. In my opinion, we're not bouncing back here. Not anytime soon. This is, now, this was the leader of the chips. All the other chip stocks have been killed. Everything else has been killed. And you could say, Nvidia has been killed too, but nothing like we were talking with Micron and Applied Materials and, some of the other ones there, Lam Research. Nvidia had held up, relatively well. And you could say, it's way off from the highs, 298.02. But really, 2018, we started the year on Nvidia 200. We started the year on, a lot of these other chip stocks a hell of a lot higher than that. Like Applied Materials started the year at $55 or $52. It's 31 here now. It has earnings too, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's held up fairly well comparative to some of these other ones. Well, now it's fallen too. So you have every chip stock that's been beat up now. AMD giving a lot back here this morning too, moving in sympathy, obviously. And a lot of your chip stocks are really getting hit hard here this morning. So what do you do now? Is this the time to start nibbling? I was actually messaging with Sean Udall, and if anybody's following us on Twitter, you would have seen us. I was asking him about Western Digital and Seagate. These things have been killed, Joel. And, you got out of Western Digital just in the nick of time, because Western Digital was $100, $106 back in March. We're now $45. You're talking about stocks down 60% from the highs. Are you licking your chops here?
No,
you originally bought Western Digital, which you had the great purchase back at $40. You can get your stock back.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about it?
You know what? You've asked me that at like 60, at 50, at 45. And no, I now.
You're not buying it anymore.
No,
you're done with Western Digital.
No, yeah, I'm done. I just, these things are on to decline. One of the reasons I bought it in mid 16 is, the monthlies were giving me something to lean on there, because you had a bunch of monthly lows in the same area. So
you still have those.
They're coming back to it.
2016.
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, it's coming down, and now it's trying to do the same thing. So if it gives me a technical setup to do it, but it did that. It sat down there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months before it came out. And then it just came down and made the low a month ago, and now it's trying to hold that. So it could be sitting down here for a long, long time. And I'm just not that thrilled about overall market here, as far as rushing out to buy stocks. So no, I'm just going to sit and wait on this one. What did Sean say about these stocks?
Sean says they're on his radar, Micron and Western Digital. It's not so much Seagate that likes Western Digital better. He says they're on his radar. He does not own either yet, but he's interested down here. So he looks like, he's a contrarian, and I'm a contrarian investor too. I like to buy stocks in my long-term portfolio when there's blood in the water. And I don't own very many chip stocks. I own the Micron, which I sold half, which was lucky I did that back at 43. So I've only got half my Micron position. I have a small position in Applied Materials, which I just bought around 38, which I'm already down into, obviously. But, I'm very underweight chips. And I see here, and I was like, holy cow, if I ever wanted to get in some of these chip stocks, they're on sale. It's a fire sale.
That's crazy.
So I don't think I'm going to Nvidia anytime soon here, but we'll see. I'm interested down here too, but I think you're right, Joel. I think wait till some of this carnage is slowing down. I mean, it seems like it's just another disaster, especially in the chips every day. I mean, Applied Materials, which, you know, looked okay, you know, just for the last day or two, starting to come back. Reports last night, and it's another disaster. Spencer, give us the numbers for Applied Materials.
Okay, yeah, I was going to jump in there. Hold that thought. All right, good. Sorry, I had a cough there.
Those wildfires are getting in there, Spencer. We're breathing the smoke. We'll get to PCG in a second.
That's okay. Q4.
That could have been a nice tangent, that cough. Yeah, you know, he comes from California, San Fran. Fires are 100 miles away and has the cough. I mean, let's start talking about PCG.
It's not that funny. It's not that funny because, like, you know.
I know it's not funny at all. Really, it's just the tangent was funny. I mean, the whole thing is awful.
AMAT here, Q4 adjusted EPS 97 cents is in line. Sales in line at $4.01 billion. Q1 EPS guidance is light. Q1 sales guidance is light as well. So light on the EPS and sales guidance for Q1 and in line Q4 earnings.
All right, so Applied Materials down 31.84. Going to challenge the low of the move, which if we just grab it, there's 30.53. I might strike for some more there. I've bought some. I actually might put some in my long-term portfolio if we get down there to retest the $30 area. But again, these are long-term investments in my retirement account. I just think they're on sale. I think Applied Materials in the long run is going to survive. I don't think it's going anywhere. Yes, chips are, you know, a disaster right now, but I'll tell you, some of my best long-term investments I've been buying when there's blood in the water, and there's blood in the water in all these chips right now.
All right, trading down 322 at 31.80. Your pre-market low was just made in the last bracket at 31.50. And what do you know? You got a number down there. No, you don't. 31.10.
No numbers.
Yep. 30.53 was your low back during the big sell-off in October. So if you're waiting for another $1.30 here, there's the low of the move at 30.53. Trying to bounce, but still sitting on the lows of the session.
Jump over here. Let's go to PCG and talk it now because it is bouncing back up 48% here this morning. I mean, it doesn't do you any good if you bought it a week ago at 47. You're going to look at a 26 and still kind of throw up. But at the same time, this is a nice bounce back here. And it sounds like, give us the headline here. It sounds like they're saying they don't want this to go bankrupt, which I don't think anybody wants anything to go bankrupt.
Well, right. But there was a regulatory body, the California Public Utilities Commission, said yesterday that it does not want PCG or PG&E to go bankrupt. And on top of that, they had a note this morning or yesterday from Bank of America defending the stock. But anytime you get a regulatory body saying they don't want bankruptcy, specifically naming the company, then that's a good sign.
That's why it's popping big time here this morning. You can see PCG, obviously. Just 1 second. I got lots of trades going on here again. But that's why you're seeing the big pop here. Is that from that regulatory body? But there is a lot of analysts chiming in here this morning too. You got Citi upgrading the stock, putting a $40 price target on it. Then you got, is it UBS? I think it's UBS. Do you have that note? Because UBS is chiming in. And they put a $1 price target on this thing. So you have analysts all over the place. You know, obviously they think bankruptcy is a distinct possibility. I didn't read that UBS note, but I just got it from a friend there, and they're saying, or just messaged me saying that there's a $1 price target on there from UBS. I don't have confirmation of that note, but my buddy just said he just saw the note.
Citi upgraded today, and Morgan downgraded. So yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, so you got analysts all over the place on this.
Yeah, and you got it up 8.56 here at 26.30, up 48% here. Boy, we're trading at the highs of the pre-market session. Your pre-market session high comes in right here at 26.90. So what I would say, okay, let's get into that 27 handle. Let's keep going up. Let's challenge your 2-day high of 29.20. I think that the longer it takes to get up to that 29.20, all of the people that were taking a shot at this thing yesterday, the 24s, the 23s, the 22s, yada, 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 all the way down to the lower 17 handle, are saying, I'm not waiting for this to get resolved. I'm going to ring the register. 107 million shares have traded. So if you're thinking this thing's just running back to $35, no chance of that. I think
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think there's going to be sellers, and then you're also going to have people scratching their head. They're like, oh, why didn't I cover my short on the close yesterday? And now they're down a good 8 sticks there, and their average price is blown up. So I think on a pullback, you're going to find buyers, and on a seller,
I'm not even sure on a pullback that you find that many buyers, because people, see the UBS, and I have no idea. I'm not going into this because I don't know if this is going to go bankrupt or not. I said this 3 days ago. We talked about it was $28 or $27. And I said this could go bankrupt. Like, we don't know. And went to 17 after that, so the last $10. But now it's popped back, and it's back to where I originally talked about it. But we don't know. You don't know what the outcome's going to be here. You just know that the damage is crazy. They're liable. They're going to pay a lot of money. Insurance is going to cover it. Can they survive? That's the question. Stock wouldn't be trading down, 50% in a day and then up 50% a day if we knew the answer to that. We don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah. And, if you're trading this, I don't know, is Freeman around in the chat? Because I know that Dennis, he was giving you some big kudos yesterday or 2 days ago. I think he was shorting that stock, and I know he's been playing from the short side. I'd like to get his opinion if he's around, because he's been getting down and dirty in this one. Freeman's your kind of trader.
I have no opinion. I have not been playing it at all. No. And the main reason for that is I just, I think it's just too much headline risk here for one thing, even overnight. Imagine you're shorted. Now this headline comes out, you're down 50%. The headline risk in this thing is incredible.
Yeah, let's see. 29.20 is my target on the upside if this is really that good of news. But it's tough, man. It's and Mary Miller's popping in saying 631 people are missing from the fires.
Oh yeah,
that's horrible, man. That's oh boy,
this is awful. And so we're joking with Spencer's cough, but you know what? You said your asthma, just from being in San Francisco, is acting up, and it may be from that smoke.
Maybe
it's 100 miles away.
You know what?
But I had another buddy I talked to from San Francisco yesterday, and he says I can smell the smoke. We're 100 miles away from it, and I can smell the smoke. Now he's open up a whole nother can of worms of different potential liability. Do you think your asthma is acting up from the smoke? You don't know.
I couldn't possibly say, but
you're out there for a couple days. It's starting to get smoky out there. It's crazy. You think about the different lawsuits that are going to come. That's why PCG. I don't want to own it.
I can't.
The liability is just unknown.
I can't say for sure, but what I will say for sure is that there are a lot of people walking outside wearing masks, just walking on the streets, on the sidewalk. A lot of people just wearing masks and every weather alert. You go to the weather app on your phone, weather.com. They all say, air advisory, unhealthy air or whatever, because the air is just not good out there. It's just not good. So
let's cover Sonos. J Dot's asking. Right. We got a stock trade.
One more, and then we'll grab Paul and Monica.
We got a green one.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we'll do this quick, and then we'll grab Paul and Monica here in a minute or two. But Sonos report earnings after the close yesterday. Q4 EPS, a 2-cent loss versus a 26-cent loss in the same quarter last year. So that's some solid year-over-year growth. Q4 sales, $272 versus $214 million, again on a year-over-year basis. So that was good. Q1 sales growth, they see that at 3 to 6%. The fiscal year sales growth at around 10 to 12%. Good report.
Good report, good pop here. For those that are trading from the long side, I'll let you know 17.20 is your pre-market high. You're only 40 cents away from that. You want to barrel through that, and let's see if I can find some resistance here. Boom, 17.65. There's a pair of highs at 17.65 and 17.56. So that would be additional targets on the upside, as well as 18.20. I'll just go with my familiar thing. The longer it takes to take out that pre-market high, there's a chance it may roll over a little bit. A long consolidation period, a nice rounding bottom here. A lot of profits to be, taken if people choose so. And you got a gap to fill from 18.20 to 19.36. So, Dennis, any take on this one?
I just see reps when stocks go up like this, and this tape, 18, 19%. I'll keep saying it. They're often, chances to ring the register, a chance to lighten up your
There you go.
portfolio. I don't follow the story. I don't follow the stock close enough to really give you any fundamental look. I'll just say we're at an awful tape. I don't know when it turns around, but, think about all the great reports we've seen. They've had some nice pops, Twilio, and they give it back. Yeah, Twilio had a good day yesterday, popped back, but I mean, these stocks have trouble holding on to gains long term, and I'm sticking with the same thing. The one thing I will say is Chinese stocks, that we're down here this morning, but they had a nice day again yesterday. Alibaba was up another $3-4. I mean, there is life here. We're seeing some rotation. We're seeing some stocks show some life. Even some tech stocks show some life. So it's not all bad news out there, but I think as much life as we were showing yesterday, I think Nvidia just took all that back this morning.
All right, we're going to be right back with our guest today. That's Paul Monica, digital correspondent at CNN Business. We'll be right back with Paul. All right, we are, as promised, joined now by Paul Monica, digital correspondent at CNN Business. Paul, how's it going today?
Good, thanks. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're a little vexed by this Nvidia report and the trading in tech stocks in relation to that report, because we saw Nvidia sell off, of course, and the sell off in tech was delayed. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going on, Nvidia has been, a very strong performer for the past couple of years, and it's been riding a lot of hot trends in tech, cryptocurrency mining for one. That has been, I think, a big boost because some of their graphics processors are helped use for mining Bitcoin and other cryptos. They're also used in gaming chips as well for some of the big consoles, so and PC games. So I think that there are two big trends that Nvidia has been a part of. So people are now worried about what this might mean for the gaming companies, Nintendo, for example, but also what it's going to mean for whether or not Bitcoin prices continue to plunge. And one of Nvidia's top rivals, AMD, has been on fire as well lately. And now I think there are concerns about whether or not it could be starting to slow down as well. And it's already hinted too that the crypto boom might be over.
Paul, Joel here. Glad for you to come on. I just want to shift away from just the market a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a tough job over there at CNN Business, reporting the markets and trying to put it like on a plane. Like we talk. Maybe a lot of people don't enjoy our show. We're very technical. We're very specific and stuff. But, you have the job of like getting the market, explaining the market to the masses. And in this period, with the volatility and everything, I mean, that must be a very, very hard job. How do you keep grounded, and how do you communicate, to, the average investing public?
Yeah, I think, the key, we have a pretty broad audience, some very sophisticated traders, but, also, more, maybe novice buy and hold investors as well. And I think the key is to stress to everyone to not get too worked up with the day-to-day market volatility. I mean, don't, kind of sit back and relax when the market rallies and think that that means that it's going to go up forever. But don't panic when the market goes down and sell everything. And, I think that's important for investors of all ages, not just millennials who interestingly seem to be more conservative, because a lot of them I think are scarred still by the financial crisis, but they have more time on their hands and arguably should be more aggressive. It's kind of weird when you talk to boomers who are going all in on tech stocks, and then you have millennials and CDs because they're afraid of the market volatility.
Paul, what has been your reaction to this earnings season? We've seen a lot of stocks pop and give it back, although I feel like we see that every single quarter. But just by and large, because I'll follow you on Twitter, and you're always quick to react to the report. So, what has been in general your sense of how this earnings season has been going forward?
Yeah, I think by and large, earnings have been still pretty solid. We keep waiting for the high watermark that Caterpillar talked about back in the first quarter to actually be here. I mean, first quarter earnings, second quarter earnings, third quarter earnings now have all been strong. You'd expect the holidays to be good as well, but what's going to happen in 2019? Comparisons get tougher. You've got the trade war still brewing. You've got maybe the sugar rush from tax reform maybe starting to fade a little bit. So I think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not finally we see material slowdown in earnings growth, not declines per se, but just earnings growth slowing.
All right, so you got retail disaster out there, and what about is there any potential bargains out there? Right, we're going to have a good Christmas season, perhaps. You always get stars in the retail sector. I don't know if it's going to be like the Cabbage Patch Doll or the big thing this year. What are you seeing amidst the carnage here in the retail sector?
Yeah, I mean, I think carnage is a little overstating it. I mean, I think yes, there are bad retailers that probably are going out of business or struggling because they just failed to adapt to consumer trends. I mean, you look at Sears, obviously, JCPenney, but a company like Walmart is still doing extremely well. Many other retailers, Best Buy, everyone thought Best Buy would be dead because of Amazon, and they've had a resurgence as well. I think what we're seeing is that the consumer is still spending. They're very healthy right now, but there are just winners and losers in retail, and obviously the winners are the ones that have the right merchandise and have also adapted to digital trends so that it's not going to be just Amazon eating everyone's lunch.
All right, moving over, I think we've talked to you over the course of the years here about the cryptocurrency craze here from a technical perspective, taking out that $6,000 level, just purely technical speaking here. I mean, is that story over?
I'm not sure that the crypto story is over. I mean, maybe Bitcoin prices have peaked, maybe not. I mean, I think the analogy I always make about crypto is that I think it is fair to say that crypto is is a legitimate form of currency that's going to increase market share in the future. But it's kind of like what happened in the the late 90s. Everyone that was betting on quote unquote e-commerce and the internet, they were right. We're obviously all shopping now online, and we're doing a lot of things over smartphones, mobile. The problem is that not every company that's going to latch onto that trend is going to survive. I mean, every company that tried to be Amazon, that wasn't named Amazon, mostly failed. And kind of feel like with crypto, there are just too many cryptocurrencies right now. We need an inevitable shakeout.
All right, another sector that had some unbelievable moves. Have you been covering, or how are you covering the marijuana sector?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another one that, there's legitimate excitement, but you do have to wonder, just how big the market really will be. Is it going to eventually be as big as alcohol and tobacco? That may be a stretch. And I think that's the other interesting thing is that, with a lot of these Canadian companies that their stocks have surged, and a lot of them trade here in the US as well, they've surged because of the legalization in Canada. It's still not clear yet that you're going to have, federal legalization in the US anytime soon, even though a bunch of states have, loosened regulations. So I'd be wary of some of the companies here. It's still, I think, a great opportunity, but these are just the very early stages of this industry.
All right. Before we let you go here, I just want to share with people a couple week or so ago, Spencer said, "Hey, we got a like on one of our YouTube videos from 4 years ago," and we looked. And it said, it was a show that we had you on, and it said, That's my dad. So what was that? Little Buzz. Which
yes,
one?
The soon-to-be 9-year-old who has his own tablet has sometimes found it amusing to Google his dear old dad, and he stumbles across these things on YouTube. So that was a fun fun thing there. I was with him while he was doing it, so I watched him at the time, so to make sure he's not like coming up with content that may be less desirable about me.
we got enough of that.
Of which I'm sure there is enough out there.
I'm sure. He's
an idiot, et cetera, et cetera.
No. Well, I think that you should allow him to go to school after 9 o'clock, after the pre-market prep show is over. Because I think you can get you got to get him investing soon. So
I don't think so. He's there right now. Hopefully, he better be at least. There might be some delays because of the weather here in New York.
Do you think Mrs. Buzz would let him come on the show instead of you next time, or do you?
No, not a chance.
Okay.
I won't let it happen.
What do you get? Just real quick, just to get a head start on the Christmas season. I hope he's not listening, but what are you going to get for him?
We got to get through his birthday first, which is a couple of days away. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Paul. Giving you a little bit of a hard time.
Thanks a lot.
Always enjoy having you on. Paul LaMonica, CNN digital correspondent, bringing the market to the masses. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thanks. Have a good weekend, guys.
All right, Joel. S&Ps, where are we at?
We're rolling over like I don't know, just 2708. 0.75. I want to give you guys support in here, but I can't because it's not down to 26.70. I mean, and the other thing I was thinking about, like last night, I told you I took a little break from the markets. I'm like, man, I hope I get to see this market flat, because we had the high right near the close. I'm like, what a low risk short that would be. If it took out, Thursday's high, then we're not going to see flat today. I can guarantee you, Dennis, 10 steak dinners, we're not going flat on the session here.
There's no guarantees on anything, but
no guarantees.
I'm not taking a bullish bet here on a day that I'm seeing Nvidia down 18%. I told you I took the bearish bet and I waited 4 hours and it wasn't paying. I had to actually eventually start hedging myself up. So unbelievable, like how long it took to respond to Nvidia. But you know what? We also have option expiration here today.
Yes,
we haven't talked about that. So it's going to be, that's just going to add to the volatility. It's going to be a very wild open. And right now we're seeing a few buy balances. It's so early. We're seeing some sell balances there too. Once you see these institutional orders come in, though, I'd imagine they're all going to be to the sell side, and I'd imagine they're all going to be large. But don't forget about the option expiration, guys, because it is going to make this open even more volatile than it already is. So volatility is one thing that I can guarantee you today.
I tell you, I saw some prints in the SPOOs yesterday where this was early in the morning. It was like 91. I'm using 26.91. Then it was like 26.85, 26.83. And then I swear I'm looking at the next print is 26.92. I mean, just people are just coming in with these orders of like 500 and say, sweeping the book up. Now, I think 2,700, the fact that we made that low at 26.71.75 yesterday and then rallied up well into the 20 or mid 27 handle, I think you might find some buyers here under 2,700. What the exact level is ahead of 71.75, I don't know. But on a rebound, if we could get up near 27.20, that would be mid-range on the session here. I probably would like to look at that for a lower risk short.
Can we do Nordstrom? We haven't done Nordstrom.
It's
today.
A retail wreck too. I mean, it's not just tech stocks. There's retail stocks getting hit hard. And two of them, not just Nordstrom, Williams-Sonoma too. Give us both.
Yeah, well, the Nordstrom report, it was objectively a good report. The EPS beat and the sales miss, but the guidance was great. So the adjusted EPS for Q3, 67 cents was a 2-cent beat. Sales 3.65 versus 3.69 billion, so a slight miss. So all in all, mixed report there, but they're raising their guidance for the fiscal year. EPS guidance was raised and by 5 cents on the low end of the range, and the sales guidance was raised also $15.4 to $15.5 billion on the low end of the range. So you don't often see a stock drop on a EPS beat and a guidance raise for the fiscal year, but that is where we're at this morning.
They just don't like any of these retail stocks, and they were beat up. Like, look at Dillard's yesterday. We talked about this thing offered at 66. The thing hit 60 yesterday. It might challenge that again here today. It's trading down a little bit in the pre-market, but 60 and a quarter. So just beat up really. $80 2 days ago is $80 Dillard's. Now it's 61. You can go to look at Kohl's. It was $82 a week ago.
Gosh.
It's 71 now. You can go look at Macy's. It was $38. It actually went up, on the report and got near that area. It's in the 31 handle here now. And JWN, no exception, beat up going into the report. Didn't matter. They want to sell retail stocks right now. They don't care. We're coming into retail season. And that's the thing is, seasonality is coming for these things. If you really believe in seasonality, man, you were getting all these retailers on sale. Because typically the November, December is the best months for retailers. It has not been a good November here so far. If you think that good December is coming, these things are on sale. But you know what? Oof, the charts are just ugly.
Okay, let's look at JWN trading down $6 here at $52.99. That's a 10% haircut after just hanging out, man. Someone was unloading stock in the mid 67 handle. They're pretty happy about that. I think you got to think about $50 now here. Maybe not today, but over the next few sessions, 49.88. That was your low in August of this year, 40. Then I see a double bottom here at monthly double bottom at 49.08 and 49.13. Also, there was overtures from the company about going private. They kind of spooked people at $50. So I think if you saw that on the downside today, that'd be a potential level. And just these other ones, I think Spinner, I mean, he puts in some of these big option trades, and I know he put in one. Of course, you don't know what the people are doing on the other side of things, but he did mention someone did a huge trade in Kohl's puts ahead of the report here. So sometimes those option things could be good indicators here. Maybe it was a hedge on a long or something, but boy, oh boy, let's just look at the XRT real quick. Boy, that's trading down at 46 and a quarter. That's challenging your November low, 45.52. Williams Sonoma store I have never understood. That's trading down $7 here.
Everything's so expensive in that store.
I know. And like whoever uses that stuff. 51.50 is your pre-market low, $2 above that. So I think you could find support there, psychological $50 level. On the charts only, not much under 50. Your May low in the stock was 46.92.
Just jump over here. There's a lot of other stocks we could talk about.
Sure.
Let's go to some of the ratings. I don't know if they're going to matter here today. You got Qualcomm getting upgraded at Morgan Stanley. You got LGF, which is Lionsgate Entertainment. That's catching an upgrade at Cowen. You got DSW upgrade at Susquehanna. Spencer Israel, what other ratings did you notice out there? Although none of these stocks really responding well.
There were a lot. You mentioned the DSW one. What else did I see? Goldcorp catching an upgraded from HSBC. I thought that was interesting. Qualcomm, you said. That's it as far as upgrades that are interesting. As far as downgrades, well, yeah, they won't really matter. Nvidia, obviously, Michael Kors catching a downgrade from Oppenheimer here this morning. Good timing there. Home Depot downgraded from Bank of America. JCPenney downgraded Argus. Those are the big ones.
All right. You guys just flew through a lot here. Chats, did anyone catch their eye? I
mean, you can go talk Lionsgate. I own this in my long-term investment portfolio. It's been clawing its way back. One earnings report we did not talk about this morning is Viacom, VIAB, and it is trading higher on its report. So maybe some of these media stocks, maybe some of the money rotates there. I don't know where the money is. Things change so quickly in this market with the rotation. But Viacom is trading up 3%. Give us the numbers for that. We can kind of tie Lionsgate in there too.
Yeah, Viacom Q4 EPS 99 cents, up from 77 cents on a year-over-year basis. Sales 3.48 billion versus 3.07 billion estimate. So beat on the sales estimate and some solid year-over-year EPS growth for VIA and VIAB. VIAB is the more liquid one.
It's off the highs already, Joel. How high did we get here? VIAB.
VIAB. Yeah, you had a spike, couple spikes up in the 33 handle, 33.70. You're off a buck on that, 33.70 to 34 even.
Already leaking.
Yeah, it's already leaking. 33.48. If you do get a rally back up to that area, but you don't want to wait for 33.70, 33.48. I mean, there were big sellers at 33 here over 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions. So who knows if those sellers are still lurking here at 33. Needs to hold that area in order, or needs to get above that area first. So there's your resistance. If it goes in the reverse, your close was at 31.83. And Dennis, we talked about these stocks for a while, and the spread really got out of whack. Did it? Do you remember? Is it? I mean, I still see a $3, $2.5, $3 spread. Did it blow out a lot more than that? Wasn't there one point where?
Yeah, the VIA versus the VIAB,
Yeah.
it blew out like 15 points, and that was because the VIA became difficult to locate. Nobody could get a borrower on the street, and it just squeezed the hell out of the people who had it on. And this is the risk. I mean, you can say, oh, it's the same company. What's the fundamental risk? Maybe there's no fundamental risk, but this is a market that works, and market structure too. And, if all of a sudden you cannot borrow a stock, and all of a sudden, you're short a stock and you can't borrow it, your broker can literally go into your account and buy you in, because they can't be, you can't be short a stock that you can't get a locate on. So maybe you can get a locate when you originally shorted. If your broker all of a sudden cannot find the locate to borrow the stock, then you're at a point where they've got to come into your account and actually buy you in. I believe that's what happened. If you look at VIA, we could probably go try to find this on the charts. It's when it exploded. That's going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
Because this is you got to look at it. It's like 2016 or 2017, but VIA just kept going up, and VIAB would not go in. So I mean, it's scary to trade those things. I used to trade VIA, VIAB against each other all the time. And they used to trade with like a 10-20 cent spread. Now it's got like a $3-4 spread. But at one point in time, a couple of years ago, blew out like 13 points. Just would have crushed anybody who had that pair on.
Let me see here. I'm trying to see. It wasn't in March, but I can remember that. So just an interesting thing to keep.
It was it was a while ago. I feel like it was a couple of years ago.
All right. Time flies when you're running the pre-market prep show.
Let's go to imbalances here.
Sure.
It is. Remember, it's option expirations. Sometimes they don't mean much, but I feel like these ones do, because we haven't really seen a lot of crazy stuff come in here yet. Twitter, 126,000 to sell. Alibaba, 76,000 to sell. General Electric, 583,000 to sell. Bank of America, 199,000 to sell. Ford, 307,000 to sell. Square, 54,000 to sell. So we are seeing sell imbalances, which you would expect on this day. Few buy imbalances out there, which is interesting. Wells Fargo, 53,000 to buy. Pfizer, 43,000 to buy. Pfizer is defensive, so that could actually be one that could potentially turn around. I don't know. Other than that, it's just it's a lot of carnage out there today.
We got a retail stock though trading up. Shoe Carnival here. Trading.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder what longs are thinking on this one. Give us the numbers for Shoe Carnival.
Okay, earnings after the bell yesterday for SCVL Q3 EPS 76 cents, beat a 58-cent estimate. Sales $269 versus $265 million, so beats in the top and the bottom line there. And then they're raising guidance for the fiscal year. EPS guidance was raised from $2.07 to $2.36 on the low end of the range. Sales guidance raised from 1.01 to 1.02 billion on the low end of the range. So a EPS and sales beat and a EPS and sales raise for Shoe Carnival.
$44 got near, Dennis.
Wow, that's where your highs were from there.
I know. Did you see that?
It's scary to short these things flat out in the past, but I mean, this has been a earnings season that has rewarded you for selling the rips and not so much buying the dips.
Boom. You got up to, was it 44 even? 44 even, just a few little odd lots traded there. Now you've backed off considerably. Very, very, very light volume in here. So I bet, Dennis, what are they showing bid? I mean, could you even sell if you had to sell 1,000 shares right now, where do you think, is it pretty, where would you have to take it down?
SDBL? It's fairly liquid.
Yeah.
It's 41.20 to 41.50. I don't know if you could get 1,000 off there. If you had 10,000, you'd be in trouble to try to sell it. But I mean, if you sold it, you probably could work it out. 4150 just printed off exchange 2,600 shares. There's some. Okay. It's not super liquid. It's not like Nvidia, but you could work some stock.
As long as this holds 41, your 2 and 3 day highs are 40.99 and 41.12. So need to hold 41 here to continue this rally and shoot Carnival. Your 4-day high was right up near that pre-market high, 43.75. So I don't know. If it gets up near 44 there, I think longs may be taking an opportunity to take some off, especially since you're getting back 4 days of losses here in one report. And as I said, let's see what the volume is so far this morning here in Shoot Carnival.
It's 6,600 shares. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Let's go back. We got 9 minutes here only,
Sure.
and let's just talk. We're getting a little rally here on
It's
the
a
S&Ps. Only down, 15 handles here now. What I'm so torn. Like I don't really know, and this is the most difficult market to call day to day. The moves are so random. Intraday trading is so random. It's so choppy. It's so wild. And I look at, here we are, we're down 15 points, and you think, well, Nvidia's crushed. A lot of your techs are going to be wrecked. Maybe we're not down enough, but then the rotation comes in, and you see often, you see a stock like Pepsi this morning. Pepsi is getting bid up here. Pepsi's now trading up 50 cents. I haven't seen any news on Pepsi. I'm assuming that's just rotation. So it's showing you again, your utility stocks are probably going to be stronger because PCG's got a big pop here. 47% is probably going to spill over. I know EIX is trading up substantially as well. Edison, another big company, obviously utility out there. But you do see oil. Oil is trading higher here this morning. If you want, we're just looking, kind of under the hood here of the overall market. And we're trying to find a reason why the S&Ps aren't down as much. And there is some reasoning out there. I wouldn't say, it's jumping out obvious, but, oil is having a bounce back day. It's up another 2% again. So you're probably going to see strong today oil stocks, at least off the open. Probably your oil stocks, probably your food stocks because they're defensive. Your gold stocks are trading higher. Gold's catching a nice bid here this morning. They're going to be stronger. And your utilities. So, you're seeing, TLT rally too. So some of your bonds. So it isn't all carnage out there. I know we've had a show where you think, holy cow, it's going to be a really ugly day. But S&Ps are kind of holding up not bad considering how bad the tech wreck is. And I think there's going to be some rotation to some other stuff.
Rotation here. I think that I didn't have the exact headline here, but I think Powell made some dovish comments here that maybe they're going to stop backing off the rate hikes. It's data dependent.
You just make some comments now? Is that the catalyst for the most recent rally? We just rallied 7 handles.
Yeah, I believe so. What time did we get those Powell comments here? I'm looking to see. I think someone threw it in the chat here. It was just as we were at the lows of the session. I think Spinner or Cajun One at 8:43 posted Powell Fed rates pause possible in 2019. Thank you, Cajun One. I never go to a minute chart ever, but I will for the sake of explanation here. 1 minute S&P chart, 8:43. We were trading at 27.1175. So if you were just trading off that headline there, quick 6-7 handles in the bank here, and the S&P
headlines are driving us so much. That's why it's so hard to call day to day. The next headline, you don't know what it's going to be. But there's an argument here, and I was talking, with one of my friends, last night, and just chatting, and just the argument is, okay, if the market keeps going down, Fed's going to back off on these interest rates. They say they're not market dependent, but we know they are. We know they look at the markets. And if the market continues to get ugly, they're going to back off raising the interest rates. So in that case, that's probably good for the markets. If the markets go back up, well, the markets go back up, and that's good for the markets. Is the Fed still is probably behind this market? We know it's like the last line of defense here. Does that make you kind of want to start buying stocks, just knowing that the Fed will probably, get a little more dovish if we continue to show weakness in the overall market?
Well, yeah, if you take care of, the tariffs and,
well, that's going to get taken. Let's be honest here. Okay, with this war with China, this is eventually going to get taken care of. I mean, you can worry about that all you want, but eventually here, we're going to get a deal with China. And the tariffs are probably going to be a lot less than a lot of people have feared. Trump plays hardball. He's playing hardball. We eventually got a deal, with Canada and Mexico. Whether it was the best deal for Canada, I don't know. But you look at it here. Eventually, there's going to be a deal with China. Can you agree on that?
Yes.
And what happens when we get the actual deal with China? I think you're going to see a wicked Chinese rally.
And maybe that's in the works right now. I mean,
I think it is. I think there is something there because the Chinese stocks are telling you they're down here this morning, but they've had a pretty damn good week. Alibaba was $140 a week ago, it was $153 this morning. So, as ugly, and our S&Ps here are down this week. China's went the exact opposite way. I think there's going to be a deal here eventually. And I think on that headline, maybe it's going to be a sell the news type of event, but I don't think so. I think, I think eventually you're going to see a deal here, and I think you're going to see that pop. So that's the risk to short this market too. So I'm not all bearish here. I'm not all, throwing the towel on the portfolio. We got to get the hell out to cash. I'm actually still nibbling. I bought a little bit more of, it would be the EEM equivalent. I bought it in Canada. I bought a little bit more of that a couple days ago. I actually bought a pot stock a couple days ago too. I bought Aurora Cannabis. I've been nibbling in my longer term portfolio. And Aurora Cannabis is more a swing trade. I just liked it off that $6 level. And it bounced wickedly yesterday for me. So, that would be my stop out as if it gets below there. But the EM is a long-term retirement account. I just think eventually I think China, it's underperformed basically for the last 5 years, really underperformed this year. I think there's eventually going to be a deal there, and there's eventually going to be some money made.
Question from the chat about Baidu specifically. So can we pull that one up, Joel?
Yeah, let's do it.
I do.
BIU. Give us, Joel, technicals.
Did they ever report or not?
No.
There's nothing.
This was the one that kind of started the Chinese carnage. Remember this? I think this is one of the first ones that came before the Alibaba and everything. What I do like about the monthly chart here is you got a pair of lows in the same area. Let's just call it 178. So you got you're a good $10 off that now, $12 off that. But if you're looking at a swing trade here, and you want to look at a 50% retracement here of this move from over 280, risking $10 down to 178 might not be a bad idea. For the month, looking at the monthly candles here, I think 200 is going to be a big level. Your current high for November is 206 and a quarter. If you're looking, I mean, you had to rally up to 206 and a quarter and you came back down. I kind of like this chart longer term. You got some monthly lows to lean on here. And if
all the Chinese stocks, though, Joel, Baidu is one of the biggest ones traded over there. But, you can look at the FXI or the EEM. I mean, they look like, EM is significantly off the lows, 44 this morning, but we're at $37 a week and a half ago. We've come back on a lot of these Chinese names. Alibaba, we talked about already going from 140 to 153, but I don't know. They don't look that bad. They're not as bad as they did.
No, maybe we got a deal coming here in the pipeline here for on the tariffs, and things have just been kind of quiet on that. I mean, it's had its impact on quite a few stocks. You think that steel stocks would have rallied, but X, I mean, we haven't talked about that stock in a long time. Well, that kind of has an interesting setup here. You got good support at 27 and 27, 28. I think whatever which way this goes above 28, I think you got some room on the upside.
You have a lot of setups. I was just looking at the charts. You have a lot of setups for stocks they're to make 2-3 lows in the same area. You like those setups sometimes, Joe. Like that 26.85, you could totally lean on that. You buy this thing like 27.21, it's trading this morning. You can lean on 26.80 for a year and out. You're leaning on for 1%. I mean, that's a nice risk reward there. And if the market starts to turn around, these things could pop. Market is popping here right now. We're talking up the market here, Joel. Facebook, look at it. Same thing. Look at all the lows in the same area. Facebook, 140.48, 141, 141.55, 140.83. All lows in the same area. Google had 4 lows. Look at Google, the lows in the last 4 days. It's incredible. 1031, 1031.15, 1031, and 1031.78. You see that on GOOG? That's crazy.
That's an institution.
And then it popped out of there.
Yep.
You got some bottoms forming in some of this stuff, guys. And this is why you got to look under the hood and really, you come in and you think, oh, Nvidia's down 17%. This looks like hell. But then you look at the market and you say, well, why is the market not down very much? Why are we holding on here? And you got to start analyzing and say, you know what? maybe, when you look under the hood, stuff doesn't look as bad as you think it does. Apple obviously, is one of the, it popped back a couple days ago there, but it's been one of your leaders on the downside for the market, at least this week. Nothing really technically forming there, although, not going down is a good thing. But you got a lot of, areas where you could probably lean on some lows. And wow, what a resilient market here. We are popping big time here.
Man, I'm glad you didn't take that 10 steak dinner bet that we go unchanged here, because I'd be a sweat.
It's unpredictable. One thing of this market, it is very hard to predict day to day.
Yep.
Very hard.
That's one prediction I'm going to make, and that the market's unpredictable. That is for sure. All right, Spencer, how'd you do here?
Stargazer summed it up nicely. Here we go with Dennis getting bullish, only to be disappointed next week. So that's
well, and you know what? There's a point there. I've been bullish a couple times here, showing hope, and it's just been punished in my face. It's been a tough market to be bullish in. I'm swinging around. I've been bullish. I've been bearish. It's a trader in me. I'm kind of all over the place here. I've been right a couple times, been wrong a couple times, but holy cow, this market right now, this unbelievable. Nvidia trading down 17%. The S&Ps are down 7 handles.
Do you think
only 0.26%? Resilience of this market is incredible.
Do you think
at least today?
Do you think that if we just both didn't go on or you primarily didn't go on this bullish rant here, that the SPOOs would have rallied 18 points?
Joel likes to think that we can.
What are we doing?
I'm afraid we can't do that.
I'm afraid we're going to have to shut down the show, folks. We are
I'm afraid we can't do that.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you
is
this is the comments from Powell. Let's be honest, Joel. What are the comments? Do you have it, Spencer? Do you have the headline?
I don't think there were comments from Powell this morning. A couple of Fed speakers were on Fox.
Well, whatever was said in the chat. I'm on the live radio show. I can't be looking through my news feed as I'm trying to give commentary here. So, what was said at 8:40 from whoever in the chat? Because obviously that is the catalyst here.
Dennis, we're at 27-23. Can you talk bearish for like 2 minutes and see what happens?
So, quit joking around on stuff like that. It doesn't even sound like it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
I know.
So, the S&P is billions of dollars trading around, and you're trying to talk like we got bullish on the market. That's a ridiculous thing to say. I think he's joking. I hope he's joking.
He's joking.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
He's joking.
What was the catalyst?
I'm looking for the specific headline. I don't see anything super that would indicate this would. I mean, because they all say. There was two on at the same. There was one on Fox and one on CNBC at the same time, and I don't know who said what, so I couldn't point you to anything specific from 8:40. So I apologize, but we can look this up off the air, which we're gonna do because that's gonna be it for our show today.
There was commentary from some Fed exec or something because it was said in her chat, and that's what the catalyst here is.
At 8:43.
Lay out Brentster. Brentster's watching. I out that news desk.
Well, Clarito was on. I think he said he's optimistic on the future outlook of the markets, but I don't have anything more than that in front of me right now. So,
all right,
he doesn't see a clear signal. I'm just reading what it says. He doesn't see clear signal from the markets. All right, we'll get some clarity on this after.
JV SPAC is talking to. Yeah, no clear signal to take from the stock market. Okay.
All right.
Anyways, it's difficult on the fly here, so
yeah, it is.
That's the headline driving us higher,
especially with Fed stuff, because it's trying to read tea leaves here. But all right, that'll do it for our show. If you missed any part of it, catch our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, or Google Play. Just search for PreMarket Prep on any of those platforms, or just watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/Benzinga TV. Thanks to our guests, Paul and Monica. Thanks to all of you in our chats on YouTube and premarket.benzinga.com. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend too, and we'll see you on Monday morning.